Iowa, January 2024. The police department in Dubuque received this chilling 911 call.
911, what's the address of your emergency?
I don't know. I'm on Avoca Street. I need someone right now.
You think your best friend is dead?
A 46-year-old woman, Jennifer Dazey, had been found dead in her bedroom. Her friend, Christy, had walked through the whole house looking for her, calling her name, concerned that something had happened to Jennifer, not because she thought she was in danger of a crime, but because she wasn't a well woman. Jennifer had a brain tumor and had been undergoing treatment, including surgery. When Christy found that her friend's bedroom door was still shut, she feared the worst. And the worst was true. Jennifer was dead. But she hadn't died of her brain tumor. No, instead her body was covered in blood. She had been murdered. Who had killed this ordinary, ill woman? What did it have to do with her son, who was found standing naked in the other room? And how did his sister figure into all this?
And he said, "She's a witch. You know how witches are."
Competency hearings, a twisted family dynamic, and a dog. This is the tragic story of Jennifer Dazey. This case takes us to the frigid morning of January 18th, 2024 in Dubuque, Iowa. It was a briskly cold day with temperatures below freezing, and a woman named Christy Fullman drove over to her friend Jennifer Dazey's house to meet her for coffee.
Coffee was our thing.
Okay.
We loved it. There was like our time where no kids were around, no one. It was just me and her, and that was, whether it was 2 hours or a whole day, it was just her and me.
They'd arranged this coffee hangout the night before. Christy had recently had a hysterectomy and had only just been cleared to go out again, and she was desperate to get out of the house.
That night, about, I want to say between 5 and 7, the night of January 17th, we set up, I dropped my daughter off at school. After that, I'd head over to her place, we'd have coffee and see where the day would take us.
Little did Christy know that that day, January 18th, would bring them nothing good. That morning, Christy was running late. She dropped her 8-year-old daughter off at school and then headed over to Jennifer's house after picking up a coffee. She parked in a neighbor's driveway and walked over in the thick snow. In Jennifer's driveway, she saw 2 vehicles, a car and a truck, belonging to Jennifer's sons, Tyler and Nick, respectively. Jennifer's car wasn't there. Christy thought nothing of this and walked right up to Jennifer's house, entering via the front porch. It was as she was opening the interior door to the rest of the house that she saw something shocking.
When I opened the main door to go in, I'd seen right here by the 2 pillars, Tyler standing there, naked.
Jennifer's 28-year-old son Tyler was just standing in the middle of the room with no clothes on. Christy, in shock, backed onto the porch and texted Jennifer to come meet her by the front door, embarrassed and not wanting to intrude. Then she heard a door close and assumed it meant that Tyler had gone into his bedroom. She guessed that Jennifer had gone to get her own coffee, which was why her car was gone. So she re-entered the house and went to sit down on the couch to wait.
Did you ever sit?
No, never made it that far.
Why?
As I went to sit down, I looked to my left and I seen what looked like hair, fur, something. So I ended up scooching over towards that and lifting the blanket to find out what was underneath it. And it was Echo.
Christy imagined that maybe Jennifer had gone out to get help for her dog. She decided to check around the house anyway, just in case Jennifer was still there. The unresponsive dog was a worrying sign, and the house appeared empty other than Tyler, whose strange behavior was also a concern. Christy tried calling Jennifer again, but she didn't pick up.
Nothing. The house was so quiet.
She spotted Jennifer's purse in a corner and noticed that the curtains were shut. When Jennifer was up and awake, the curtains were always open.
When I seen her purse, I stopped and questioned myself. She never leaves without her purse. She never goes anywhere without her purse. So that made my gut start turning.
She knocked on Jenny's bedroom door.
I said, Jenny, come on. You never sleep in like this. Let's go. I'm here. Let's start our day. No response. And I'm like...
With still no response, Christy decided enough was enough, and she opened the bedroom door. At first, she couldn't make out that anything was wrong, only seeing Jennifer's shape on the bed. Then she stepped closer and froze.
Why'd you freeze?
The blood and the amount of blood.
Jenny was lying dead in her bed, in a pool of her own blood. At first, Christy didn't suspect murder. Jennifer had a history of seizures, and Christy thought that maybe the blood had come from her ears as she had a fit. It was difficult to see what exactly had happened because the lights weren't on in the room and Jennifer had blackout curtains. Christy, in shock and horror, called her boyfriend Ron and then called 911.
What's going on?
I was supposed to meet my best friend for coffee. I think she's dead.
You think your best friend is dead? All right, we're going to get help on the way here.
Though Christy initially suspected a seizure or some other medical emergency, she was still scared for her life. She dropped to the floor and braced the door shut with her feet as she talked on the phone until someone finally arrived to help her. But it was too late for Jennifer. Jennifer had come home at about 10 p.m. the night before, seen here on her motion-activated Ring security camera. So, at some point in the night or early morning, she had been killed by multiple sharp force injuries to the head, the neck, and the left hand. In particular, she had 13 wounds to her head, each caused by the blade of a knife or hatchet. Her dog had also been killed by a blow to the head. Jennifer was a kind, friendly woman, the mother of 3, struggling with health issues. What could have provoked an attack of such awful rage? To understand this story, we'll have to dive into who Jennifer Dazey was and her family. Jennifer was born on August 24, 1977 in Hawaii, but she had lived in Dubuque, Iowa for most of her life. She had 5 siblings who each went on to have their own children, meaning she came from a large and vibrant family. Not much is known about her relationships, but she had 3 children of her own: Kylie, 18, Nick, 26, and Tyler, 28. She viewed her kids as her greatest accomplishment, and she tried to support them in all their endeavors. Jennifer had previously been sentenced to probation for unauthorized credit card use at the business where she worked, but since then she'd been putting her life back together and now worked at a management position at a disaster services company. She was known as a carefree spirit with an infectious laugh who didn't care what other people thought. She was learning to garden and had a passion for travel, making it her ambition to see all 50 states. By January 18, 2024, she was only about 10 states short. Her zest for life was only increased by her recent health issues. A few years earlier, she had gotten into a car accident. Shortly after that, tumors were discovered in her brain. In September 2023, she had brain surgery. Jennifer's sister and Christy were Jennifer's primary caregivers during this time. It was Christy who took Jennifer to her pre-op appointments and to the surgery itself, and Christy who was there when Jennifer woke up afterwards. The 2 women met through their daughters, who were the same age and attended Girl Scouts together. When their daughters moved to middle school, Christy and Jennifer drifted apart, but they reconnected over their health issues. Christy had an autoimmune condition, and they were sometimes in the hospital at the same time. In December 2023, 3 months after Jennifer's surgery, Christy had to have her own surgery, a hysterectomy. While she was recovering at home, she didn't see Jennifer all that often, other than one time when Tyler brought Jennifer over for dinner. He didn't stay, but Christy had met him on other occasions and knew about his dynamic with his mom. Tyler was the only one of the 3 kids living at home with Jennifer, having moved back in with her about 6 months ago, and they had a complicated relationship.
Sometimes they would laugh and joke, other times he would name call and she would just smile and act like it didn't hurt her feelings. And then we'd move on to like the next thing, but he would call her. Whether he was angry with her or joking around, it was just something he would always say.
Still, when Christy was finally given the all clear after her surgery and went to Jennifer's house, eager to catch up with the friend she'd barely seen all month, she had no idea what she was walking into and how Tyler was involved in it. The police arrived at Jennifer's house at 8:51 a.m. in response to Christy's 911 call.
Knocked on the door, didn't receive an answer. As I was standing there, I heard somebody crying inside.
The front door was unlocked, so the officer went inside. He found Jennifer lying dead in her bedroom, Christy distraught. She told him that Tyler was likely still inside the house and had probably been the only person in the house when Jennifer was killed. There were no signs of disturbance in the snow outside the house, and no signs of forced entry. This was enough for the police to detain Tyler for questioning, but based on his behavior, which was strangely blank and flat, they decided to take him to the hospital instead.
Based on how he was acting, we were concerned that he may have ingested some kind of substance before police arrival, and we wanted to make sure that his vitals were stable and that he was medically cleared before we took any further steps in the investigation.
In the hospital, Tyler acted obstinate with the investigators and the medical professionals, dodging their requests for a urine sample, but the investigators felt he was lucid and competent. When they managed to test him, he was found to have THC in his system, but in a regular user, these levels could remain high for several days after last use. He tested negative for other drugs present in his system. He also had some abrasions on his right hand.
There were multiple times during the interview where he stressed how disciplined he was and how he was very aware of everything around him and what was happening.
Despite Tyler's apparent lucidity, he betrayed some very strange ideas.
Did you ask him about his relationship with his mother?
I did. His response was, "It's fine, except for when she's acting sneaky like a witch." He then went on to talk about how his mother was part of a covenant of witches. I followed that up with how he thought his mom thought of him. And his answer to that question was, "I think she hated me so much that she hated herself."
Tyler said that his most recent conversation with Jennifer had taken place in her bedroom just before the police came, and that she'd been practicing witchcraft at the time. When the investigators tried to pin him down on his movements that morning, he either claimed he didn't remember or evaded the question.
He described her witchcraft as putting evil on him. "She's a witch. You know how witches are. Oh, I'm better than you. I will be your fear. I will be your enemy."
When the investigators asked how Jennifer had attained the awful knife wounds, he just kept saying witchcraft. This was all they could get from him in the interview. However, when he was told he was being arrested for the murder of his mother, he said,
"It's hard to argue witchcraft in court, isn't it?"
Tyler didn't once deny killing his mother or her dog. On a search of the house, the police found a knife holster on the dining room table. They also found a backpack in Tyler's room that contained 2 knives. And they found a tactical tomahawk or hatchet on a shelf in the bathroom, as if left there by someone showering. Tyler had already admitted to showering right before the police arrived, which was why he was naked in the house. They took this hatchet in for forensic testing. Its handle had prints matching those of Tyler Dazey. The evidence was mounting and was seemingly solid. 28-year-old Tyler Dazey had killed his mother. His family didn't deny this, including his sister Kylie, who made TikTok videos about the case, asserting that her brother couldn't be found responsible for his actions. About the accusations of witchcraft he leveled at their mom, she said,
"It was a joke. Now that he's manic, he believes it."
She emphasized her brother's psychiatric history, which involved multiple commitments to psychiatric hospitals, both of his own will and involuntarily. Tyler had a troubled history, having been arrested in December 2015 for assaulting his brother Nick when Tyler was 20 and Nick was 18. Kylie said Tyler was on disability for schizophrenia.
All of a sudden, he would just start talking a little different, and then you knew, and it was okay. He's not doing the best. You can tell in his tone. You could see it in his eyes.
This, in Kylie's opinion, was the reason for Tyler's attack on their mom.
Healthcare prescribed him many different cocktails of drugs. Doing so, they should follow up on medication they prescribed. They never did with my brother.
This would be one strategy used by Tyler's defense team. Could he be held responsible for his actions? Was he competent enough to stand trial? He underwent an evaluation in February that returned the answer no. He was not competent because of several untreated mental health conditions. But on May 27, 2024, a second evaluation found him competent to stand trial, and a third in July returned the same result. This weakened the defense's strategy and meant that in July, his case was in court. Tyler refused to appear, however. In a letter dated July 12th, he wrote, "To be subject to slavery through usury of the law, be it constitution nor amendment, I will not participate. I seek honor, to become of worth. I seek God. My mother would be ashamed otherwise, as if of my ancestors. To seek God in death, to become that of life." Scrambling for a defense, his lawyers tried to question the validity of the DNA evidence and also raised questions about Kylie herself. They pointed to body cam footage of Kylie directly after she found out about Jennifer's murder, laughing and in seemingly good spirits. She also had her own troubled relationship with her mom.
I was fighting a domestic case with my mom because she said I slapped her foot.
Kylie lived with her brother Nick and had received the news about her mom's death while at work as a waitress.
You were at work, you're unable to go, is that right?
Yes, I don't have my car. My car needs to be fixed because with my tire being split, my all-wheel drive is messed up.
Oh.
Yeah, just so much.
Okay.
That's why I'm so calm. Shit always happens.
As a result, Kylie had stayed at work instead of coming to her mom's house immediately. She explained her possibly callous attitude as her own resilience. Everyone reacts to death in different ways, and the defense couldn't prove anything. They suggested that footprints in the snow around the house implied that someone else had come home that night. But these could have been produced by animal activity. The back door to the house was also deadbolted from the inside. The evidence of the motion-activated Ring camera on the front door also ruled out other suspects. At 8 p.m. the night before, Nick had come to drop off his truck and take Jennifer's car, since there was something wrong with his truck. And at about 10 p.m., Jennifer let the dog out. There was no further activity until the next morning, when Christy arrived for that fateful coffee and learned what Tyler had done to her friend. It was undeniable that Tyler had murdered his mom, and the jury agreed. Tyler declined to appear for the verdict, claiming he wasn't interested. The jury found him guilty of first-degree murder and also animal abuse for the killing of Echo, Jennifer's dog. A sentencing date has not yet been set. Kylie continues to post on TikTok about the trial and her brother, advocating for better mental health services and refuting any claims that she had something to do with her mother's death. A GoFundMe has been set up to support her and Nick. What do you think about this tragic story? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Until next time, stay safe, keep up with our channel, and we will see you very soon on The Decoder.